goals, same agenda. And so I think it's a narrative that's being created because there are other agendas out there, people that don't like Mitch McConnell, for example, other things going on. I'm keeping my eye on the ball.
So big day in Alabama now. Senate primary runoff is today. President doubling down earlier today on Twitter said this on behalf of Luther Strange. Luther Strange had been shooting up in the Alabama polls since my endorsement. Finished the job. Vote today for Big Luther. Vice President Mike Pence at a rally last night for Strange. Meanwhile, former White House strategist Steve Bannon was also in Alabama, rooting for Strange's opponent, Roy Moore. Bannon saying a win for Moore would be a win for the populism that elected President Trump. Former White House Deputy Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush, Karl Rove, with me now. How you doing, sir? Good morning to you. Boy, some strange currents running through Alabama in this race. I'm confused. I've got Bannon on one side saying that Trump is going to regret his support. I've got Pence and the president on the other. I mean, straighten it out, Karl. What does an outcome mean?
Well, full disclosure, I'm a volunteer with American Crossroads Senate Leadership Fund that's been supporting Strange. This race is going to be close. Moore leads in the polls, but he led in the first round. In fact, people suspect the polls suggested Luther was going to run third, and Moore might even take it all with more than 50% in the first round. But the president's appearance on Friday night and vice president appearance last night are helping Luther finish strong. So we'll see how it comes out tomorrow. But if Luther Strange wins, it's a huge win for the president. Will be because of President Trump's appearance on Friday night.
All right, I want you to listen to two things here, okay? One at a time. Steve Bannon with Sean Hannity last night suggesting the president has been given bad information on this vote. Go.
This is not about debating the issues. They try to destroy Donald Trump. The same gang that's going after Roy Moore is the same gang that went after Donald Trump. And I got to tell you, I think it's sometime later after tomorrow, a real, review has to be done of how President Trump got the wrong information and came down on the wrong side of the football here.
So that's one side here. Before you answer that, Karl, he called you out last night as well when he said this.
Mitch McConnell and Ward Baker and Karl Rove and Stephen Law, all the instruments to try to destroy Judge Moore and his family, your day of reckoning is coming.
So what about all that, Karl, and how do you respond?
Well, I've been threatened by more fearsome people than Bannon, so my day of reckoning, I'm not particularly worried about that. But let's start with the first part. This decision by President Trump to support Luther Strange was made while Steve Bannon was at the White House months and months and months ago. So maybe Bannon lost out on the internecine battle in the West Wing, and now he's bitter about it. But look, there was a reason why the president supported Luther Strange. He was the sitting senator, and he was the leader. He introduced a bill to build the wall and pay for it by taking money from sanctuary cities. He is a strong supporter of the president's. Roy Moore was a strong opponent of the president in 2018. In fact, even after Donald Trump became the Republican nominee, he dismissed the idea of the wall. He, in this campaign, said he opposed the president on health care. He would not have voted for Graham Cassidy, or even for the earlier skinny repeal bill. And look, Roy Moore is the Todd Aiken of 2018. This is a guy who set up a private charitable foundation that seemed to exist for the care and feeding of him. When he was out of office, he was the president of the charitable foundation. When he was in office, his wife is the president of the charitable foundation. Not really clear what it does except pay for airplanes to fly him to give speeches to church groups.
That's
and he got $1 million.
But you have to think about the conservative credentials of Roy Moore. Because
absolutely. That's why he's in the race.
People in Alabama believe he's the guy who stood up to the federal government when it came to the Ten Commandments 10 years ago.
Well, he did. He stood up to the. He was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court
in the state capitol.
Well, he put it on the grounds of the judicial building in violation of state law, which set up a procedure by which monuments would be added to state grounds. He was sued in court. Federal judge held that he violated state law and enjoined him and said to remove the statute and go through the procedure. And he told a federal judge, I'm not going to abide by your injunction. He was removed by a special commission that oversees the judiciary because you got to have respect for the rule of law. He did this again when the U.S. Supreme Court declared gay marriage permissible, and he directed local officials not to agree with and act in accordance with a U.S. Supreme Court decision.
In the meantime, you've got people
made it popular, though.
Make America Great Again hats at the